Spread your wings and fly. Yeah. You can do it too. You is I, and I am you, and you are me. We are two. Yeah, we dimensional multiverse. I'm a universe. Yeah, I said, yeah, I'm a universe. No need to rehearse. I said, yeah, I just do it. Get the feeling of exuberance. I'm doing it. Nike doing it. Yeah, in his life. We really have love. I really want some, yeah. Yeah. And his life ain't really had none. And his life ain't really had none. And his life ain't really had none. We ain't had none. Now little nigga got some. Now we ain't really had none. We ain't really never had none. Now little nigga got some. Now when he started, nigga went turned on thumbing. Yeah. And his life ain't really had none. And his life ain't really had none. And his life ain't really had none. Yeah. And his life ain't really had nothing. And his life ain't really had nothing. And his life never really had side. Yeah. And his life ain't really had nothing. And his life ain't really had nothing. And his life ain't really had.
What it do you to today's video? I want to chime in with a quick impromptu video. In today's video, I want to talk about It Isn't So Funny Part 2. It Isn't So Funny Part 2. So, see, listen. When you dumb down and you don't know anything, it's your fault, but then again, it's not your fault because you gotta remember. This schooling system, this society, this government system has indoctrinated a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to be able to discern the information, what information you're taking in is a fact and what is a half-truth and what is not true at all. Because what's a half-truth and what's not true at all is still a lie. But the truth, the little bit of truth is going to be able to open so many doorways. You see what I'm saying? And public school is not the best, but it's not the worst either because that's the basics. You need the basics, right? And no, I'm not advocating for anybody to drop out or to quit going to school or nothing like that. I'm not advocating for that, so let me just say that. But I'm just saying, especially when you're a minority, and you know, like I said, I'm not trying to make this a race thing and nothing like that. I'm just speaking truth. You know, you're a minority, you're a woman, you know what I'm saying? You're an immigrant, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? You know, people will try to speak down on you. If you know what I mean? Like, especially if you're a minority and you're a woman and you barely speak English or you're in poverty or some shit like that, motherfucker will try to really take advantage of you or pick on you. And that's the same thing with males. It don't really happen to males like that, but you're an immigrant or so-called colored or you don't really speak English that well or stuff like that, a motherfucker will most definitely try to take advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? But it's deeper than that. It's just like, when you naive, and you dumb down, and you don't know shit, like, yeah, you might know some of the stuff that you learned at school, but a lot of that stuff was a little bit of truth with a lot of half-truths. So it's still a lot of lies with that little bit of truth. So that means you have to go and do your own research and educate yourself. You see what I'm saying? You have to go and educate yourself. And you'll have to teach yourself and research things that you don't know or that you didn't know. But before you even do that, you're naive. Especially if you watch a lot of TV and stuff like that, you're dumbed down. You know what I'm saying? You're naive. You're on a low vibration. And don't feel bad. I was there too. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, don't feel bad. Excuse me, I was there too. A motherfucker gonna laugh at you. They gonna pick with you. Make a little joke, snicker, hee hee, hoo hoo hoo, all that shit. But once you start to wake up, once you start to do your research, you start doing that inner work, that shadow work that you need to do. Everybody got some type of flaw. Everybody got some type of hidden trauma. You know what I'm saying? Once you start to wake up out that dead state that you was in, you start to really wake up and become more conscious. You know, so-called conscious. You start to become more aware. That's a better word. And you know, you start to know what's going on. It ain't gonna be so funny no more. It ain't that funny no more. We thought this was just a dumb motherfucker. Once you start to wake up, it ain't so funny no more. Once you start to uncover the truth, it ain't so funny no more. Especially in society, because you gotta remember, everything has been divided. You know what I'm saying? Everything has been conquered. Everything has been split or manipulated in some fashion or form, meaning like the truth. For so long, they've been spewing this narrative that so-called black people, especially in America, came from Africa and all that. And you might have some that actually did come from Africa, of course. But a lot of us was already here. It's about Native Americans. And a lot of so-called, cause they, cause don't get it twisted. They call so-called black people that was brought over here, they ancestors that was brought over here during the transatlantic slave trade. They call them African Americans, and they call us Native Americans African Americans. So all confuse us. We all look alike, but you gotta remember, a Native American, like you have different Native American tribes. I am a Cherokee Native American or Cherokee Indian, whichever one you want to say. Very sophisticated, very rare tribe, very rare bloodline that goes back to the so-called Hebrew Israelites, aka the Moors, so on and so forth. But that's all really generational shit. We really Native Americans in this lifetime, Native Indians. You know what I'm saying? They try to push this narrative that all so-called black people over here is from Africa, and that's not true. And it was a lot of so-called black people from Africa already living over here amongst so-called Native Americans. So there's been a lot of mixing and breeding on that end too. So you know what I mean? Let's say if your people did come from Africa or whatever, or your ancient ancestors came from Africa. Well, now it's mixed in your bloodline. So now you got Native American family members that was already here, but they ancient ancestors come from Africa too. You see what I'm saying? Because there's been so much mixing and stuff going on. You know what I mean? So that's the narrative they've been trying to say and all this stuff. But that's just to confuse you, so you don't really know who you is. You know what I'm saying? And it's all just one big mind fuck. But once you start to do your research, and you do research with people like Dan Calloway and stuff like that, you really start to realize that this shit is way deeper than you recognize. Shout out to Dan Calloway. You know, this shit is deeper than you realize, but I agree with Coolio. People like Dan Calloway need to be protected. People such as myself need to be protected. But I got divine protection for sure. It's just he's right because when you actually have people that really know the truth, you know what I'm saying, they always become more targeted because they want a certain group of people to stay dumb so you don't claim back your birthright, which is the land. You know what I mean? So we won't unify. Because believe it, we are the light of the world. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, no matter how many motherfuckers don't like it, no matter how many people do like it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of different people, a lot of different ethnicities, nationalities, they look up to so-called African Americans. I'm just saying so-called because, like I said, we really Hebrew Israelites. That's our lineage, but a lot of us was already here on the continent of America, Turtle Island. We Native Americans, Native Indians. And yes, our bloodline surfaced to a lot of places and stuff like that because it's been a lot of mixing and interbreeding. Like America's one of the only countries, not one of the only countries, but it's like the largest country or the main country that has the most mixed races and stuff like that. And ain't nothing wrong with that. If that's who a person loves, that's who a person loves. You know what I mean? Point blank, period. Or if that's who they want to be with, that's who they want to be with. You know what I'm saying? But it's been so much control and this and that, and we don't want this info to get out type shit. So it's been a lot of censorship. You know, a lot of people, you know, being stopped and different things of that nature. But it's to the point now that the information is out there so much that people are just waking up slowly but surely, whether they say something, whether they don't. So it's not funny to say no more like that. See, Satan not laughing how he was. See, Satan was just on his evil dark throne, chuckling and hee and ha ha and all that shit. And then boom, once you start to see that a lot of people start to wake up, cause they, you know, a lot of people ain't gonna pay attention to that shit. They gonna think that's bullshit. But really, what motherfuckers don't know and what motherfuckers scared to tell you is that everyday people. I can't speak for every everyday person, but I can speak for majority everyday people because they feel the same way as I do. Everyday person nowadays don't give a fuck about that Hollywood shit or that extra shit. A lot of people in Hollywood don't even give a fuck about the Hollywood shit. They want to be everyday regular people now, which they is everyday regular people. They just know because what they do has brought them so much success, and with success comes notoriety, it comes riches, it comes fame, it comes infamy, all different type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of regular people tired of all the extra bullshit. We just want the truth. We want to just live our lives, and we just want to know the real history of what's been going on. So a lot of this stuff starting to really come out. Satan ain't laughing no more. Saying that his dominions, not dominions, but saying that his demons ain't laughing no more. And that's why you got so many distractions coming out left and right, back to back to back to back. Because people are starting to unify. Whether you can see it or not, motherfuckers are unifying. But the only way a person can really unify or even adapt to what's going on is they have to first learn themselves of what's going on. Excuse me. And they have to really accept the truth for what it is. Excuse me, then. They have to really accept the truth for what it is. And then that way, they can choose to move forward and be like, okay, I finally accept this as the truth. I've done my own research. I've actually talked to these people. I talked to these people, and I did this. I did that. I talked to this researcher, but it had to be somebody that's legit, not one of them motherfucking Freemason ones that's working for the system to keep the bullshit narrative going. But the ones that's actually pushing the truth, they do their research. And once a person actually accepts the truth for what it is, it's like that person is truly enlightened. Because they know the truth. They're not speculating or this or that. They actually know the truth. And you can't persuade their mind to go left or go right. They know the truth. And now it's like that knowledge is their protection. Because that knowledge is power. They have the power to now know and see what the fuck they couldn't know or see before. So it's like having a day live glasses on, but not physically having sunglasses on. It's the fact that you know something that you didn't know at first, and once you finally seen it for what it was and accepted it for what it was, you now hold the ultimate power. Because when you have knowledge, you know, and when you know something, you have knowledge. The root word of knowledge is know.